They say fashion is all about appearances, but the best designs often hide their true complexity beneath a simple surface. The same could be said for success in the fashion industry. My name is Isabella Martinez, and this is the story of how my aunt's attempt to humiliate me backfired in the most spectacular way possible. The annual Fashion Week gala in Milan was a sea of designer gowns and carefully curated personas. I watched from a quiet corner as my aunt, Victoria Sterling, held court among fashion's elite. Her label, Sterling Couture, was considered the epitome of old-world luxury, and she never let anyone forget it. "Darling, you simply must see our new collection," she gushed to a famous editor. "We're redefining luxury for the modern era." What Victoria didn't know, what almost no one knew, was that while she was clinging to outdated fashion formulas, I had spent the last decade building Casablanca into the most innovative luxury brand in the industry, the same brand that was about to acquire Sterling Couture. "Isabella." Victoria's voice cut through my thoughts. "Come here, dear. Show everyone your little project." I approached the group wearing a deceptively simple black dress of my own design. The construction was revolutionary, using techniques I developed in my little workshop, but to Victoria, it probably looked plain compared to her over-embellished creations. "My niece," Victoria announced to her audience, "runs a small dressmaking shop. Very artisanal." The way she said it made it sound like a quaint hobby. "How interesting," murmured a fashion journalist. "In these days of fast fashion, it's nice to see someone keeping old traditions alive." Victoria's smile was pure condescension. Yes, Isabella has always been traditional. Though perhaps if she'd accepted my offer to learn real fashion business at Sterling, she might have progressed beyond basic alterations. If only she knew that Casablanca's innovative designs and sustainable practices had revolutionized the industry, that our profit margins were triple those of traditional luxury houses, that our waiting lists for custom pieces stretched months long. "Everyone has their place in fashion," Victoria continued. "Not all of us can be visionaries after all." I thought about the folder on my laptop containing the final acquisition papers, about how Casablanca had systematically purchased Sterling Couture's debt through shell companies over the past year, about the press release scheduled for tomorrow morning. "How is Sterling Couture doing?" asked another journalist. "I heard rumors about financial difficulties." Victoria waved her hand dismissively. "Mere speculation. We're stronger than ever. In fact, we're in talks with several major investors." "Really?" I kept my voice neutral. I heard the last quarter's numbers were concerning. Victoria's eyes narrowed slightly. "And where would Seamstress hear such things? One picks up interesting information in a small shop," I replied. "People talk while being fitted." My phone buzzed. A message from my CEO, technically my employee, though Victoria thought she was my boss at the small shop. "Final contract signed. Press embargo lifts at 9 a.m. tomorrow." Perfect timing. Victoria's latest collection was set to debut at 10 a.m. "Speaking of fittings," Victoria said loudly, "perhaps you could help with some last-minute alterations for tomorrow's show? We could pay you your usual, modest rate." Several people tittered. Victoria had been doing this for years, trying to put me in my place by treating me like household staff at industry events. "I'm afraid I'm quite busy," I replied. "Running a business takes considerable time, even a small one." "A business?" Victoria laughed. "Darling, let's be realistic. You have a charming little hobby that barely pays its rent. This," she gestured around the opulent gala, "is a real fashion business." I thought about Casablanca's headquarters in Paris, our sustainable production facilities in Italy, our innovative design studios in New York and Tokyo, about the revolutionary fabric technologies we developed, the patents we held, the way we transformed luxury fashion production, while maintaining absolute secrecy about our ownership. "Perhaps you're right," I said mildly. "Though sometimes success isn't about size or appearance, it's about innovation and timing." Victoria missed my meaning entirely, already turning back to her admirers. "Innovation is overrated. True luxury is about tradition, about maintaining standards. That's why Sterling Couture will always be an industry leader." My phone buzzed again. The final confirmation I'd been waiting for. Our teams were already in place at Sterling's production facilities, ready to begin the transition the moment the announcement was made. Later that night, in my hotel suite, Not the modest room Victoria would have expected, but the royal suite she tried and failed to book. I reviewed the morning's press release one final time. The fashion world was about to learn that Casablanca, the mysterious brand that had revolutionized luxury fashion, had acquired sterling Couture. That the small dressmaking shop Victoria had mocked was actually a front for one of the most successful fashion innovations in decades. But first, I had one more fitting to attend. Victoria had insisted I come to her studio early tomorrow to observe a real fashion show preparation. Little did she know, she was about to get a masterclass in modern luxury fashion management. The morning of Sterling Couture's fashion show dawned bright and clear in Milan. I arrived at Victoria's studio at 7 a.m., watching the chaos unfold from a quiet corner. Models were being fitted, makeup artists were rushing about, and my aunt was in full director mode. No, 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 Victoria shouted at a trembling assistant. The sequins must catch the light exactly right. This is luxury fashion, not some department store display. What she didn't notice was that several key people in the room, her production manager, head of PR, and chief financial officer, were glancing at their phones with increasing frequency. The press embargo would lift in exactly 1 hour. Isabella. Victoria spotted me. Come see how real fashion is created. Though try not to get in the way, we can't have any amateur interference today. I smiled, thinking of the 3 Casablanca shows I'd already orchestrated this week under my secret identity as the brand's founder. Of course, I'm here to learn. If only you'd shown such interest years ago, she sighed dramatically. You could have been part of all this. Instead, she gestured at my simple black dress, the same one from last night. Well, we all make our choices. My phone buzzed. A message from Casablanca's PR team. Financial press has the story. Fashion blogs are getting wind of it. Countdown to announcement, 30 minutes. Victoria was still lecturing about the importance of proper fashion management when her PR director approached, looking nervous. Miss Sterling? There's some unusual activity on social media. Rumors about Sterling Couture. Probably just excitement about today's show, Victoria said dismissively. Though do make sure those photos from last night's gala are prominently featured. The one with the Vogue editor especially. It's not about the show, the PR director said carefully. It's about ownership changes. Major financial news sites are hinting at a significant announcement. Victoria's face tightened. What ownership changes? That's ridiculous. We've been approached by investors, yes, but nothing is final. Actually, I said, checking my watch, something is very final. In about 15 minutes, to be precise. She turned to me, confusion crossing her features. What are you talking about? Perhaps we should step into your office, I suggested. There are some things you should hear before the press release goes live. The next few minutes were surreal, as we sat in Victoria's opulent office, all gold fixtures and oversized fashion photographs. I watched her world slowly unravel. Casablanca, she whispered, reading the press release I'd handed her. But they're the most innovative luxury brand in the industry. They've revolutionized everything from fabric technology to production methods. Yes, I agreed. We have. We. Her head snapped up. What do you mean we? I founded Casablanca 10 years ago. That little dressmaking shop you love to mock? It's where we test new designs and techniques before implementing them across the brand. Victoria's hands were shaking. This is impossible. You're a seamstress. I'm a designer, innovator, and businesswoman. The fact that you never saw beyond the surface says more about you than it does about me. Her phone began ringing, fashion journalists seeking comment on the breaking news. Outside her office, we could hear the growing commotion as staff members read the announcement on their phones. But how? Victoria stammered. The capital required, the connections needed. Remember when you refused to modernize Sterling's production methods? When you dismissed sustainable fashion as a passing trend? While you were clinging to outdated luxury concepts, Casablanca was building the future of fashion. I pulled up the numbers on my tablet, Sterling's declining sales against Casablanca's meteoric rise. The innovation patents we held. The sustainability awards we'd won. Your choice now is simple. I continued. You can fight this and watch Sterling Couture disappear, or you can join us in creating something better. Your technical skills are excellent when you're not blinded by ego. Join you? She laughed bitterly. Become an employee in my own company. No, become a partner in a bigger vision. Sterling Couture's heritage combined with Casablanca's innovation could create something extraordinary. The office door burst open, her CFO rushing in with panic in his eyes. Victoria, have you seen the news? Casablanca, they've acquired controlling interests. Our stock is soaring. Yes, Thomas, she said quietly. I've just been talking with Casablanca's founder. She looked at me with new eyes, seeing beyond the simple black dress for the first time. My niece, apparently. The transformation of Sterling Couture began immediately. We maintained the brand's heritage while modernizing its approach. Victoria, once she got over her shock, proved to be a valuable partner, her eye for classical luxury complementing Casablanca's innovative techniques. The fashion press had a field day with the story. Fashion's greatest revelation. Casablanca founder unveiled, read one headline. From seamstress to fashion empire, the industry's best-kept secret, declared another. A year later, I stood on the runway after our first combined show, Sterling by Casablanca. The collection married Victoria's classic sensibilities with our cutting-edge technology. The result was extraordinary. Victoria approached me as the applause died down. I've been meaning to ask, that black dress, the one you wore to the gala, it wasn't simple at all, was it? I smiled. Look closer. I showed her the seams, the innovative construction, the way the fabric responded to movement. Sometimes the most revolutionary designs look deceptively simple on the surface. Like a successful businesswoman disguised as a seamstress, she shook her head ruefully. I should have known. Your grandmother, my sister, she always said you'd surprise us all someday. The mention of my grandmother, the woman who taught me my first stitches and encouraged me to dream bigger, wrought a wave of emotion. She hadn't lived to see my success, but she believed in it from the start. She also said something else. I reminded Victoria that true luxury isn't about labels or logos. It's about quality, innovation, and respect for the craft. Victoria finished. I forgot that somewhere along the way. Got caught up in the image rather than the substance. These days, our combined brands lead the industry in both innovation and classic luxury. The small dressmaking shop still operates, now openly acknowledged as Casablanca's research and development hub. Young designers vie for the chance to work there, learning that true fashion innovation can come from the most unexpected places. Last week, I overheard Victoria telling a group of fashion students, success in this industry isn't about who you appear to be. It's about what you can create, what you can innovate, and most importantly, what you can see in others. She caught my eye across the room and smiled. The aunt who had once dismissed me as just a seamstress had learned to look beneath the surface. And in doing so, she helped create something greater than either of us could have built alone. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't about destroying someone's empire, it's about showing them a better way to build one.